Hey everybody, Tommy G here, and gonna do a pattern of Bearfield, or no, Lausanne. I'm sorry, we're in Lausanne, Switzerland. You look around. This is sort of our surroundings, and we're getting ready to take off. And I'm just going through a little bit of a pre-flight check here. There we are at the end of the runway, and if you can look a little bit closer, there's a lot of traffic here. So let's pop inside. Real quick note: I'm in the cockpit the first time in my new machine. This is my new rig. I got a 4068 gig, and this thing really performs in VR now really well. Even though I still have to keep track of how my head's doing. I switched my time of day here. I selected from UTC to local time on 1301. Let's see. I got all my lights on and such down there. Avionics on. I'm about to set my. I think yeah. I'm about to set my autopilot for. We're at 2,000. We'll do a pattern at about 3,000. And then from there, I'm going to need to set the vertical speed, which I messed up. So I'm going to want to set the vertical speed to about 700 foot per minute ascent. And that's all ready to go then for takeoff. I set my heading bug off at about heading 23 because we're heading directly south now. I think if I look, I don't know if I can bring up my map or not. I cannot. I don't have the map here between my legs. But obviously we're looking just south. We're supposed to take off in a pattern, immediately turn right, kind of come back around and fly a right pattern around Lausanne here, out around the land the same direction. Only problem is other aircraft take off this general direction, so we may be coming straight at them. In fact, I know we'll be coming straight at them when we come in. So test my flight controls there, left and right, and then I pull them out, push them in. Everything's free and clear. Nobody on the runway here. I don't have any flaps or anything going on, so I think we're ready, just about ready to take off. Let's do this thing. Oh, there I brought my map to show you. So we take off, we kind of come around, fly that right pattern, and do it. I guess I gotta do that when I record. So yeah, enjoy the flight here on this thing. Let's see if we go back here again real quick. On 3. Here we are outside. Check us out from the tower there. But I want to be inside as we roll out, so let's go back in. Alright, I think we're all set to go here. So let's throttle this thing up. Push that sucker in. Release the parking brake down here. And away we go on runway 18 at Lausanne, Switzerland. 55 knots. We're going to pull back. Throttle slightly, 5 degrees, 10 degrees. Level it a little bit. I'm going to get on the autopilot pretty quick here to bring us on the proper course. There we go. We're climbing actually at 600 feet per minute towards 3,000. We're moving out towards our heading, but you can see the town up there, and you can see my performance is much better. This thing used to stutter all over the place. I'd have to wait from time to time. But you can see the apartments down here on the left. I think this is Lake Zurich or Lake Geneva. I don't know. See, we have some air traffic out just there off our left. We're climbing up at about 80 knots. Good trims adjusting right here. And beautiful day. I'll go to external camera real quick to show you. Let's go a little bit closer here. Yeah, there we are. So just look at the scenery. Again, here on my new machine, there's like micro stutter, but this works very well. I actually tried Microsoft Flight Simulator. Works also just as well in VR. Now this is, I might not fly without doing VR anymore. The ship just off the coast there. If I go external, that used to be all a stuttery mess. If I go back here to the tower, at a tower back at the airport, you can just kind of watch other planes come in. Okay, well that guy's, yeah, everybody's basically heading north on this one, so let's go back out to where we are. We're on board here, we're still heading 210. Pretty soon we want to make our turn. And again, we're gonna make a right turn coming around here, basically to a 180. And I think I'll get out the map so you can see what that looks like. But we end up taking it a little bit wide because we're doing a standard length turn. But I love the Cessna, man. This thing is really cool. And this would be like, I mean, look at this, looks like brand new with the upholstery and stuff like that. This thing is nice. All right, let's think about making that turn. We're out over the lake. I look out over my wing. There are the mountains just jutting up out of the lake. That's awesome. Our pitot tube right off there. And the snow caps of the Alps here. About to head back to the States for baseball. It's going to be awesome. Oh yeah, if I sound funny, it's because I'm trying a filter on this to make it sound like a headset. So we're making this right turn. We're gonna come back the other direction. Sorry, I want to look at something real quick. I think my engine noises are too loud. I'm gonna have to turn those down for the next one. Sorry about that. There is a setting you gotta go in manually into your actual, like a text file in your settings, a config file, and I'll turn that back down again. But yeah, look at the performance on this thing. I don't recall. I think I bring the map up in a minute here on my lap. So you can see kind of where we are compared to the loop. But there's Lausanne, Switzerland, back off this way. And again, I'm sorry the engine noise level. When I switched new machines, I didn't change that config file. And I'm going to have to. I still didn't bring out my map. But yeah, this is gorgeous. There you can see, you know, some of the homes and buildings around right off the lake. That's expensive property. And there's sort of a rail line that comes throughout here that goes actually right through town and off to the east. Yeah, I guess I didn't bring my map up at this point. I have to remind myself when I do that in the future. But now I'm turning back on path. Nice coordinated turn. Go about north, maybe a little left and north to keep on our path, the intended path. And yeah, there's like a rail marshalling yard right down here. You can see just off the lake, less than a half mile from the lake. Only like 100 yards down there. But you can sort of see ghosted images, you know, satellite imagery of rail cars sitting in there. But this is where we're going to drop off and pick up in Lausanne. And then I think you can see, you know, the highway goes out about this way. The railroad kind of picks back up. There's another marshalling yard over there. And the airport is right back about in there. So I know I brought my map up here, but I guess I don't have it now. I wanted to check and see the route. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to get right out here a little ways. I'm going to get past the airport. And I keep looking at my lap to see if I see the map. I'm going to make a right turn, and when I make the right turn, I'm going to slow down somewhat so that I can come on into the lap speed arc. And then just start slowing down. I'll put my, right now I don't have my, oh, there was the map. It was just up, I saw it. Right now I don't have my landing or my taxi lights on. When I make that turn, I'm going to put both of them on. I think I forgot to put my fuel pump on. But we'll get to the turn in just a moment here. Let's check it external for a second, right? Here's what it looks like if you're following us. There's the airport off to the right. But look at this countryside. This looks nice. These are like sort of little towns and villages in external parts of Lausanne. Here we'll do a flyby. Oh no, it's the airport. other aircraft taking off. But if we go up and do the flyby here, there we are. Now we're inside, back inside here. Terrain's rising up towards us here. As you can see, when we're, we're the pattern altitude's 1,000 feet. I mean, no, 2,000. Well, it's at 3,000 feet is pattern altitude. The airport altitude is about 2,000 feet. But this up here is probably 2,500 feet. It's probably 500-foot gradient up to here. So as we make this turn, we're going to be probably somewhere near 500 feet above the surface if we're not already. Cool looking little valley down there. Some other paths and stuff. I mean, you can see around my stanchion here. I think that's probably a railroad that kind of comes through here like a single spur rail. Alright, let's make this turn now. We'll make the turn and slow down at the same time. I'm bringing it back to... Yeah, here we go. Bring this back to about 2,200. I'm going to keep it in the green. But I'm going to start slower. We're coming back from, 95 knots. Get to about 80. But we want to get on about a heading of about east. And we'll make our right turn. And as we do this turn here, I'm going to... Yeah, I don't know if you heard it or not, but I flipped on my my landing and my taxi lights. So now the tower can hear us. I think you can see... I don't know which finger this looks at. It's either that or that. So I guess I'll go in the middle. The red out there, that's the poppies for the runway. So the runway's right off there. And they need to see us. So we're at 80 knots. What I'm going to do is... now I can't... These buttons don't actually light up. They should light up when you press them. I've got it on autopilot. I'm holding at this heading, just about east. You can see it's engaged, heading autopilot, and altitude, 3,000 feet in a direction. So I'm going to switch off the autopilot and when I do, I'm going to make my right turn. I'm going to pull back the throttle, come back down around again to about 2,000 RPM, and then I'm going to give it 1 degree or 10 degrees of flaps. They come down in 10 degree increments, I think. 10, 20, 20 and 30 maybe? Or 15, 25, 30, I don't know. But okay, here I'm making my, or no, I just switched the autopilot. Again, I'm going to be lining up at that airport, right under the snow cap, right down there is our airport. And I think I could basically get ready to do that turnabout now. So you're going to see this marker come off here as I turn off the autopilot. And when I do, I think I'm ready to make my turn. Right? Yeah, there it is right there. So I'm going to turn off my autopilot. See the marker come off. Come on off, marker. Here we go. There we go. Autopilot's off. Grab the yoke, let it drift a little bit, flip 10 degrees flaps. You can see outside my window the flaps are down now, somewhat. I'm just going to let it, I'm going to move the trim wheel a little bit, but I'm going to give it another 10 degrees. Now I'm flaps 2, and it's wanting to come up, so I'm going to trim up this way, because I want to keep my speed a little. There you go, I'm moving the trim wheel forward. And I went ahead and put flaps all the way down. So I got full flaps. I'm going to trim forward and then give it a little bit more fuel because I'm coming down about 70, but I'm going to let it fall to 65 knots. See, there's air traffic coming in right now. It was a little stuttery. So I guess there is some stutter, but it's almost nothing like it was before. There's some high voltage power lines down here right next to a building. Road, some houses and stuff, but we're on final, so I got to pay attention. You can see I'm a little bit right, so I'm going to drift a little left here, but I have this hill here, this ridge that I have to contend with. So I'm trying to maintain a a steady approach, but that brings you right over this stinking hill. So I can see why the other aircraft are coming from the other direction. But as far as the town goes, right off here, and like I said, some other smatterings of buildings out this way. But beautiful scenery with the Alps in the background. All right, so I'm at 65 knots. I think I'm going to start adjusting the throttle because I realize I'm going to need to float over this ridge. So I'm giving it a little bit more because I want to be above 65 knots, and actually I'd like to give it more throttle and then trim the nose forward so I can maintain my descent rate and pick up a little bit of speed, because I'm under like 65 is what I should be on short final. I could be 75 here or so. We're coming in over the forested hills, and I don't want to stop here. I want to. You can see there's some stutter movement across the ground, a little bit as it moves. It's not bad. If you focus on it for a while, it stops a little bit. But it's really pretty fluid. Okay, I'm over this ridge. As I come over this ridge now, I have a straight shot at it. But you can see I also have to contend with high voltage power lines in front here. This place would be a nightmare. And then there's another stand of trees right before the highway, so you do not want to lose power here. I was doing a Cuba bush trip with Matt recently, and I was making a left pattern for the second to last spot. I'm hoping to get the last leg on the video, and as I accidentally pulled back. I was trying to hit the flaps and I pulled back on the mixture and I killed my engine, and I had to restart it as I was losing altitude in the battery. Look at this, high voltage lines. I'm coming right over the top of them and the stand of trees, but now I'm finally in the clear. There's the highway and the road toward the airport. We're going to slow it down 65 knots. I think we're at a good pace. 1900 RPM. Good descent rate. This you wouldn't see. Don't worry about the guy coming in here. I'm cutting throttle here and pulling back. And I don't quite pull the nose up enough. I come in a little hard there, just a little bit. I could have pulled back the nose a little bit and flirted with that stall. And I sank a little too fast. But anyway, I come in, I put my flaps up all the way. I'm hitting the brakes. I'm going to pull off at this first taxiway. And as I do, now you can see there's really no stall. At this, when you're moving at this speed, or stutter. I'm going to come up to this line, come to a stop, turn off my landing light is off. Leave my taxi light on, go to towers. This is 519er11 with you. Request taxi and parking. Taxi approved. Taxi the ramp. Okay, moving ahead. I'm going to go around this intermodal container, which some lucky trucker dropped off here on the tarmac. And I'm going to get around, pull in right next to this other Cessna. We're doing sightseeing. You can see the hangars here where they're working on the aircraft. I'm going to stay on the line here, pull right over it, and line up with the wing. And there I am. Come to a stop. Turn off all of my stuff. I'm going to hit all my switches. I'm going to go, first I'm going to pull out the mixture and choke the engine. And it's trying to restart because I got the magnetos on, so I'm going to turn the magnetos and cut it. Now I'm going to turn off my avionics, and I'm going to hit my master battery switches. Turn off all my lights down here, the master switches, and shuts everything down. That's about it, folks. And then I'll step outside and say thanks for watching. Catch me next time. We'll be back in the States to do some more flying. I hope this worked out better because it really runs better. Bye now.